As a maker in this space, we're being inundated with AI at every turn.
People like myself with a classically trained background in coding, we have to evolve with the platform.
This age that we're in right now is very similar to how when the PC was introduced. I wasn't even studying computer science when the PC was introduced. And I changed my whole professional career based on that.
5 years ago, a maker was someone who chose one of the technologies and became really good at that. In the age of AI can write and generate so much of that code for them. So I see the role of the maker is having to go more wide rather than super deep.
One of my big community projects is helping people reskill into Power Platform roles. AI is helping them close that gap quicker.
AI has made the simple things much easier. It's made it easy for me to start my journey in tech. I'm definitely looking to the future of what AI is going to be doing, because right now it's mind-blowing.
We have all different kinds of people in our community, and I would say eclectic, and that's actually the superpower of the community.
I would describe the Power Platform community selfless, amazing, and a community where you can be yourself.
And I love that I have now an address book full of people with specific skill sets that I can send a text message or that I can call up, and they're all super excited to help me out.
Come and geek out with us and come join your tribe.
To me, the Power Platform community in one word is family. We are all there to support one another and to help one another and watch everyone succeed together.
Please welcome Microsoft President of Business and Industry Co-Pilot, Charles Lamanna.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here at the 2025 Power Platform Community Conference. I'm incredibly honored to be here with all of you, all these amazing makers, and to celebrate what's our 4th annual community conference. How far we've come from small conference rooms in Orlando, Florida, all the way here to this big arena with what is now the world's biggest celebration of makers. So huge round of applause for all of you to make this possible. Now today we have a ton of great content to cover. We're going to talk about what the community means and how it's evolving and how amazing all of you are. We're going to talk about how the role of makers is changing and evolving in a really interesting and disruptive tech environment. We're going to have a bunch of great live demos. And of course, we're going to give a sneak peek to the special guest from F1 that we're going to have this week and some of the activities that we have queued up. But before I get into all the product stuff, I just want to take a real moment to spend a second and just say, you all are the heartbeat of the Power Platform. Everything that we do at Microsoft, the energy we get every day, every week, every month to keep improving the products and innovate and experiment, it comes from what all of you bring to share with us each and every day. And if I look and I think about what makes this community special, we're makers, we're dreamers, we're problem solvers. We innovate, and this is never going to change. We may go from the Windows desktop app for Power Apps to the web Canvas Studio to AI-powered experiences, but those things will stay the same. And what we're going to see is that we're going to continue to improve these products, whether it's CDS1 to CDS2 to Dataverse and what Dataverse continues to evolve in the future, or even going back in time when we went from Microsoft Flow to Power Automate. We're always willing to change, evolve, and grow. And if I think about what is core to that, it's that idea of experimentation. We never have it all figured out, but we get there by experimenting and learning together. And if I go back to the very beginning of Power Platform, when it was just an idea in Building 44 in Redmond 10 years ago, to where it is now, it's been an amazing journey. I don't think we ever imagined that we'd have 56 million monthly active users in the Power Platform. People creating amazing solutions, analyzing data, automating tasks with all of these tools. And the mission from day one was always this idea that we could democratize development. That's not something reserved for coders or computer scientists, but instead a much bigger population of makers could participate in creating these amazing solutions over time. But we're entering a new era right now. A big change is happening. And what we're seeing is that low code, as we know it, is dead. It's changing. It looks different. We're about to go through, there's a cheer up here. We're about to go through a once-in-a-generation change. And that's because of what AI represents. And I'll kind of expand and talk about what that means. But the biggest takeaway is this idea that intelligence is now abundant. It's just an API call away. And over the last few years, capabilities have just kept improving. From GPT-3 to GPT-4 and 5, or the O1 to O3 reasoning models, the technology just keeps getting better. More expertise, more actions, more capability, making things that weren't possible just 12 months ago possible. And as this happens, our role is increasingly to make things, to make these amazing ideas come to life, to be curious and explore and experiment and try out new things and apply technology in new ways, and to bring our creativity to bear. Because no matter how intelligent AI is, we still need, as makers, to be doing these three things to create these amazing solutions. And if I think about how we continue to stretch and evolve what we do, I really think of this idea of ideas are becoming limitless. Citizen developers, pro developers, do you write code? Do you use Power Effects? Do I drag and drop? Do I click? Those boundaries will all get blurry and far less relevant. Far less labels, far less separation. Instead, so much will be accessible to everybody inside the Power Platform. And we really think of this as a moment where Power Platform is being reborn. Something special is happening right now. New intelligent capabilities unlocking new ideas, new apps, new workflows, new dashboards and reports. Same Power Platform we always know, just with some intelligence built in. And this isn't something that we just dream up and think about in Microsoft HQ. Already there are amazing examples from so many of the people in this room and so many of the customers we work around the world using this AI capabilities in action. So let's check out some of it in a short clip.
We were able to build a multi-agent architecture. The effort went from months to days. In fact, few hours, we were able to upload the document, and then it did magic for us.
Over the last 4 to 6 months, Copilot has given back over 600 hours to our staff to focus more on our staff well-being and their career development.
We managed to develop the agent in a bit under 3 months, and I think this was mainly due to the very straightforward way of building flows.
Copilot Studio allows us to build tools immediately, accurately, but with guardrails to feel responsible and safe. And I'm very excited to be part of that.
In the next 2 months, we actually will have deployed our first service desk AI agent. This will enable our IT department to actually scale in services without increasing the cost, so that funding can actually be put back into mission and create greater and better services to young people.
And what we can see with stories like that is it's just there at that fingertip and the same type of designers and canvas we're used to. And just as we've gone on that journey over the last 10 years to democratize development, we can increasingly democratize access to AI. And a lot of times it'll be subtle and in the background. You won't even necessarily know that you're interacting with these intelligent capabilities, but it'll just make the flow of work and the activities more efficient and better. And the place where we're gonna really start and dive into this with some demos is around applications. The main way we all work with computers or on our phone is with apps. It's not with operating systems or chatbots. That's where we spend our time. That's how we get work done. And apps are going to be one of the fastest ways that we can bring AI to life for all of the users, for the solutions we build inside the Power Platform. And that's what we're going to have to do. As makers, we're going to have to find new ways to keep building the applications that run the world. And we're going to have to make sure we're building them for this future environment where people have expectations of AI integrated for rapid data entry or rapid visualization or rapid creation. And sometimes the best way to really appreciate how much things are changing is to compare to things in the past. So we're going to take a trip down memory lane a little bit for some of these demos. If we look at the last few years, we've always had this tradition at PPCC of showing live product demos of some of the latest and greatest things. And as we go and we look at those demos reimagined with some of the new capabilities, you'll see how it rhymes in terms of what we've seen in the past, but looks a little bit different and has more inbuilt AI. So it's the same customers, the same use cases, just with an additional capability of, say, these more intelligent components layered on top. And that's what we really hope to show. This idea that the speed of innovation is accelerating. It's moving faster, quicker. And together, we're going to learn and create things for this new world using Power Apps. And to show this in action, I'm super excited to welcome Mitty on stage to show a demo from 3 years ago right here at the Power Platform Conference. Take it away, Mitty.
Lumen Technologies is a global networking and telecom company that provides solutions for businesses for cloud, edge computing, and networking. 3 years ago, right here at PPCC, we showed you how Power Apps could digitize a cable change workflow at Lumen. Today, we're not just building apps. We're building intelligent systems that can learn and scale, are powered by agents and Dataverse, and are fully enterprise-grade. This is Lumen's Outage Command Center. It was built using generative pages. Yes, it's in a model-driven app. And also, yes, it looks fantastic, doesn't it? Now, the coolest part of this command center is the map, and it's connected to the table to the right. I hear there's a major storm coming in the southeast, so we're going to go ahead and filter to the region, which automatically zooms the map in for me, where I do see that there are a few outages. And when I hover on them, it gives me useful information, including an AI-generated summary and tags that help me get quickly caught up. Looks like there's a new outage that was just detected. Now, what that means is, I know I have an email sitting in my Outlook that has information about this outage I need to come in and put into this 32-field form. This is a task I absolutely hate doing. It's so tedious, it's so time-intensive. But guess what? This form has data entry agent, which means it knows all about my Microsoft 365 world, including my OneDrive files, my Teams chats, and my Outlook emails, where I'll go ahead and select the new email that just came in, and data entry agent is going to figure out how to fill this form for me. And just like that, the form is filled. This just saved me so much time, which I'm very happy about. And this all looks fantastic, except for this title. It looks a little too long to fit on that map and those pins that we saw earlier. I usually have a very specific short form that I use for these outage titles to, figure out that problem. But instead of having to do this one by one for every outage that's filled in, I can just go ahead and teach that to the data entry agent once, and it will remember how to do this for all outage forms moving forward. That's amazing. Saves me, again, even more time. But data entry is just one piece of the puzzle for me. I need to figure out what the trends are with the outages in the Southeast region. This is where the data exploration agent comes in. I'm asking it to show me all the critical outages in the Southeast, grouped by incident status. And because I'm really picky, I want that specifically as a pie chart. What the data exploration agent is doing, and actually done, is it finds me exactly the information I'm looking for, and it even visualizes it for me in this beautiful chart to the left. Now, I care specifically about the active outages, so I'm going to click on that slice, which filters the list down to exactly what I was looking for. Both of these agents that I just showed you, data entry and data exploration, they work right out of the box. Just enable them and you're good to go. There's no need for any setup or any configuration. Now for the part that I'm sure you're eagerly awaiting. How exactly did I build that beautiful command center that I showed you? Let's build it together. I start here in Generative Pages. I drop my first prompt in, and I'm going to go ahead and select two tables from Dataverse, the KPI and outage tables, that I want the page to be backed by. With generative pages, I can build with intent, and I don't need to learn how to write any React code or do any of that. I can rest assured knowing it's all powered by the secure Dataverse platform, and that's the beauty of generative pages. It's not just a pretty screen that it's creating for me. It's an end-to-end solution that works. And yeah, it is solution aware. Now in the interest, yes, love that cheer for that. Now in the interest of time, let me show you what the output for that prompt looks like. It's a good starting point, but it's not quite what we saw. And this is where iteration comes in. I'm dropping in my second prompt. I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the network location table and hit enter. In this prompt, what I'm telling the agent to do is add an Azure map and connect it to the table. And here's what its output looks like. This looks a lot closer to the command center that we saw at the start. Now remember that I told you, you don't need to worry about writing any React code or any of that. Just chat with the agent and you're good to go. But if you're like me, you want to know that you can get to the code if you want to. So let me show you an example of doing exactly that. So here in the second prompt that I gave the agent, I asked it to create a variable for me to update the Azure map key in the code, which is exactly what it did. So when I move into the code here, I see the agent left me this very useful comment, update the map key value right here, which is exactly what I did. This is the power of generative pages. I built out most of the app using just chat, and when I needed to, I was able to dive right into the code and take full control. Now, a lot has changed in the last 3 years since we saw the Lumen app. Generative pages help us create, data entry and exploration agents help us operate, and every single part of the experience is now intelligent, scalable, and fully enterprise-grade. With that, back to you, Charles.
Thank you, Mitty. And I would say that the thing that I really took away, how beautiful model-driven apps can start to look now. Whether a new simplified navigation and new simplified Chrome, you have this really lightweight, fast experience that's possible, powered by Dataverse. And that's what we're trying to do. It's not just about the AI components. What it takes to build a modern application is that it has to be fast, quick, load almost instantly. We have consumer-grade expectations, even for enterprise applications moving forward. Then those apps I create have to have intelligence built in. It doesn't mean AI on the side like a chat window. It means AI woven into my forms, in my grids, in my charts, and in Dataverse, naturally where users already are interacting with my application today. And of course, for all the IT admins in the room, it's all going to be governed. So even though you're using these AI capabilities and you're building these new powerful code-first applications, you can see, you can manage, and you can secure all of these assets that are being created. And that's what it's going to take to create these applications of the future moving forward. But one of the really cool things that is starting to show up is this idea of collaborating with AI while you're developing your application. AI is able to go make suggestions, write code, make edits, based on what you're trying to do to best support the solution you're trying to create. And this helps us go create things faster than ever before, and also make them more robust and richer, even if maybe you don't have someone else working on the side with you. And to show all of this in action, I'm gonna have Ryan Cunningham join me on stage and reprise a demo from past PPCC. Take it away, Ryan.
Thank you, Charles. Good morning, everybody. Who's ready to have some fun? Yeah? Who's ready to see something completely new? All right. Now, I gotta admit, I have a little bit of deja vu saying that because it was on this stage, in this room, with this crowd, and this amazing customer, State Farm, just almost exactly a year ago, that we introduced a completely new idea in Power Platform. The idea of a plan that you could build together with a team of agents to design a solution in Power Platform. Anybody tried out plans? Yeah, this is what it looked like almost a year ago when we rolled it out. And man, it seemed revolutionary at the time. But I tell you what, the world is moving fast. We have learned a ton about how you've been using plans. And we've improved a ton with the agents behind them. And so I want you all to be, again, the first on the planet outside of Microsoft to see the next major step forward in this experience. You ready? All right, let's do it. So I'm going to take almost exactly the same prompt that we did a year ago for State Farm to help the operations team manage training and onboarding. And I'm going to pass it off to this team of agents, and they're going to get to work. Now, in the beginning, some of this is going to look familiar, right? A requirements agent has immediately picked up that business problem and started structuring it, thinking about who are the users and their roles and what jobs to be done do they have. But this is where it starts to get a little more interesting. That requirements agent has already automatically handed it off to a data agent. And I'm taking my hands off the keyboard here. That data agent built a data model for us in Dataverse by itself. Now, we're going to come back to that in a minute because I need you to meet the newest agent on the team, right? We have now added a code agent that is co-authoring here with me, the maker, my requirements agent, my data agent, my solution agent. We have a full autonomous coder here that's going to build an app full stack for us. That's pretty cool, right? This agent has a computer. Yeah, you can clap for that. It has a terminal. It has a task list. I can see over here that it's already gotten to work. It's already written some APIs for me. It's thinking about the layout of the app, the individual pages. We can actually pull back the curtain here and peek and see what it's doing in the app project. Look, it's already defined its own README file, and it's authoring and adding multi-file system code components to this application as we speak. Right? That's pretty cool. Now, let me take a minute to pause here while it works to sort of talk about what this is and what it's not, because I understand y'all came to a Power Platform conference and we're 2 demos in. We've seen a whole lot of code on the screen so far today. But let me demystify something. Look, Power Apps has always been a code generation platform, right? When you drag a button onto a canvas or you model a table in Dataverse, we generate HTML and JavaScript, right? And that was phenomenally powerful in the first generation of low code, right? It is why we have 56 million people around the world in a packed house today. But it had limits, right? There were limits to what we could generate based on the rich structures that we already had in the application. And today, you heard the man this morning, there are no more limits, right? When we get all that stuff out of the way of code generation, we can generate so much more powerful things. Now, before that freaks out the admins in the house, let me remind you, this coding agent did not just get hired at some startup. It is working in the context of a plan. It's working in the context of a governed and managed solution. It's thinking about how that app relates to a data model, relates to multiple technology artifacts of apps and agents working together. And let's talk about that data model and backend a little bit too. There's a lot of fancy people and celebrities in this town in Vegas, but this model, this is the one to watch, my friends. This is a impressive relational model, right? The data agent knows that a training can be related to multiple sessions, right? That an employee can give multiple feedback items. And it's all mapped together where I can go view and edit all of this data that the data agent has generated. I can add new strongly typed columns. I can even set granular ownership concepts around whether those rows of data are owned by the user or the team or the organization. This is so much more than some vibe-coded component or open source backend. This is the backend that runs billions of dollars of global business applications today, and we are working with it in real time. Pretty powerful, right? Let's give it up for Dataverse, yeah. Now, let's come back and check on the coding agent, right? Because while I've been yapping, it finished up its work here, right? And this is the first thing that it generated for me, folks. This is not a template. This code didn't exist 120 seconds ago, right? It's added, it looks like a multi-step, form to go select a training. Let me go do that and enroll somebody in it, pick a date and a time. Gosh, look at that beautiful date picker. Very nice. We're all using this for the first time here, right? This is pretty cool. Now, the thing is, it's never going to be perfect on the first shot, and we all know that. This is where the making really begins, right? And that gets fun. Now, I can come in here and keep talking to these agents, and we'll do that in a second. That's pretty cool. But we haven't lost the magic of a low-code experience, right? Consider the humble button. Now, what if I just want to change the text in this button, right? Let's go small. That seems pretty. Let's try 4XL. Oh man, wow. My design team is going to love me for this. Let's try to make it really bold, italic, underline. We can do this with point and click still, right? It's not either or. Look at all these beautiful colors in here. Let's go find a nice red. By the way, this app now has a whole style sheet. It has a whole theme to it, but I can customize anything that I want. So I can go make this app look exactly like we need it to look. Now, I'm realizing that one button at a time and one italics at a time is probably a slow method to go get this thing to really look like State Farm, right? That's what the agents are for. And I can work with them. I'm gonna actually ask this agent a question. What are State Farm's brand colors? And it's gonna answer immediately. It's gonna go look up that information and figure it out. And then it's gonna ask me, do you want me to apply that? I'm gonna say, great, yes, please. Let's go apply that to the entire application. Now, I don't know if we have State Farm people in the house who have memorized your RGB and hex values, but you can check the agent's work there. Yeah, all right, we got some claps in the back. And that agent is getting to work coding to build it out. Now, I'm gonna skip ahead to one that I have worked with a little bit more this morning, right? And just show you the kinds of things that are possible in just a few interactions with this agent. I mean, this thing is a beautiful application. It has elegant animations built into it that I didn't even have to ask the agent to do. It has great imagery in it. It has deep multi-step forms. And by the way, it's pretty responsive out of the gate, right? All of this working together with my coding agent. What do you think? Did Power Apps do a good job? Oop, all right. Let's say the people love you, Power Apps. What's next, right? And this is really the question to all of us. What's next, right? With this power in your hands, what are you gonna build? I can't wait to figure it out. But in the meantime, back to you, Charles.
Thank you, Ryan. And I think what you can really start to see is how we've been evolving that Plan Designer over the last year. Because that's the thing that we're so fortunate to be able to do with this community. So build in the open, get your feedback, capture it, put it inside the product. And a year from now, it'll be even better, and a year after that, it'll be even better. And this all starts to set up that idea of those limitless applications that are coming in the future. These are apps that are able to think and respond to what the user's doing in real time. Apps that can adapt to what your business requirements are as those evolve, or even what end users are doing when it comes to reports and charts. And all of these apps are able to act, to actually change data, write code, create these solutions faster than ever before. And this is what we're gonna have to do to keep building these amazing applications that we all do at work as part of the job. This is what the new normal is starting to look like. Whether it's in a consumer environment or at work, users expect these fast, smart, governed, secure applications to be built and to match exactly what the requirements look like. But it's not only about applications. There also is a major component to these solutions, which is agents. You saw that in both Mitty and Ryan's demo. These really support our applications, but they can also work in the background, even outside, to automate tasks and processes. And agents are probably the word of the year or the buzzword of the year, depending what your view is. We've really seen them become so widely understood and talked about by so many different companies and users, and they're almost talking a little bit of like reverence and mysticism. But the agents aren't that complicated. All it is a model connected to tools or APIs, data, and some content and knowledge. And the model just runs in a loop. That's all an agent is. So all the amazing investments you've already made in things like custom connectors or in Dataverse, or for some new cases, MCP servers, those all just help make these agents more capable and more efficient. And that's really important because agents are a lot more than just a chatbot. Agents are able to make decisions and improve processes and take actions, or they're even able to join a meeting or a call and help you make decisions and help you complete automation in the background. And you can start to see with things like the experience Ryan was demoing, you have a coding agent, a requirements agent, they're helping you get the job done. Or what Mitty was showing, where you have a data visualization or exploration agent or data entry agent. They're gonna start to permeate and be part of the core fabric of getting work done. And the easiest and fastest way to create these agents is with Copilot Studio. Already over 200,000 organizations have used Copilot Studio to create agents, and these agents can extend applications or connect to their data or automate workflows and processes. And I hope all of you will increasingly mix in agents with Copilot Studio into the solutions that you're creating, whether it's an app, a workflow, or a dashboard or report. And another thing that we've really learned over the last year is that it's not just only about agents. So one of the big things we've been doing is bringing workflows, RPAs, and automation capabilities to Copilot Studio. Because what we've heard and seen is sometimes you don't want the open-ended, dynamic, flexible capabilities of an agent. Sometimes you want a more structured, deterministic workflow with AI actions and AI steps. And sometimes you don't want to have computer use to go click and have the AI click your mouse and keyboard, but sometimes you want a very codified, deterministic RPA bot. And what we've been doing is we've been bringing these together inside of Copilot Studio so it's not such a hard decision. It can be an and of both agents and workflows and agents and RPA. And to really show this in action, I'm excited to have Heather come on stage and show all these great capabilities showing up in Studio, just like a demo that we saw 2 years ago for Nationwide. Take it away, Heather.
Nationwide is America's largest pet insurance provider. With the Power Platform, they handle over 4.7 million claims a year. 2 years ago, right here in Vegas, we showed you how Nationwide modernized their claims handling process with Power Automate. Now we're bringing all of those capabilities of Power Automate and so much more into copilotstudio.com, bringing the power of automation to more makers. Now, a lot has happened over the last 2 years, but we have heard you loud and clear. Backed by popular demand, ad action and parameters are coming back in line. With the updated Add Action panel, we have brand new Actor, Action, and Connector categories, including a new Favorite section that allows you to pin your favorite actions or connectors right to the top. And now, you can open up multiple actions at a time, allowing you to see the full context of your flow as you configure a new action. It has never been easier or faster to add an action to your flow. And with solution flows, you can save a draft of this flow regardless of errors or incomplete action configuration, and jump into past iterations of that flow inside of version history. Great, now let me introduce you to Nationwide's brand new claims flow. And at the heart of this flow, I have an AI prompt that I have given 3 jobs to. The first job is to extract information from a claim document, like this vet report I had to get when my dog also hurt his paw. The second job is to extract and identify details from evidence photos, like this picture of poor little Osito. He's okay now. I just needed an excuse to show you my dog. And then the third and last job is to take all of that data along with the grounding information in Dataverse around the existing insurance policies to determine whether that claim is covered by that insurance policy. Now, we've been using AI and machine learning in automation for years, but it has never been this intelligent or this easy to use. This AI prompt is not just taking text from a PDF. It's using intelligence to reason over that data. Here, we can see that it's determined that correctly that also is a Schnauzer with gray and white coloring, which aligns with his insurance policy, and that his claim is covered by that policy. To do this in the past, it would have taken us multiple models, OCR, weeks of training, and a mountain of data. Here, we've done 3 sentences. And if we want to play with some additional models, we have a lot of options just right out of the box for us. Now that we know that the AI prompt can do those 3 tasks, we can actually output this data in a clean JSON format, which allows us to use it in downstream in our flow, like adding that information back into a Dataverse table. Okay, so we have all of the data that we need. Now we want to get this claim approved fairly and efficiently. For that, we'll turn to intelligent approvals, where I can manage the approval across several stages. This first stage is an AI approval or filter that detects whether the claim has any potential fraud, and then routes it to the claim manager or the fraud department as appropriate. If the claim manager were to approve it, it then goes to the accounts payable team for that final approval. Insurance claims are prone to fraud, but Nationwide is saving hours of human review and filtering by using intelligent approvals, while maintaining human discernment at the heart of this approval. Now consider the efficiencies that Nationwide has gained by intelligently extracting, categorizing, filtering, and ultimately approving the claim. But the approval isn't the last step in a claims process. There are many other steps or jobs to be done. For those that I want to delegate to an agent, I can actually add an execute agent action directly to my flow, where I can call a specific agent and then pass over any required information that was gathered through the execution of the flow for a seamless handoff from flow to agent. Now, this is just one example of how AI meets automation for smarter processes, faster decisions, and ultimately a better customer experience. I'm so excited to see how you all are going to bring AI into your workflows. Thank you, Charles.
I always like any demo that ever is in the Flow Designer. I think if people ask me, like, if I had to choose a favorite Power Platform product, it might be Power Automate. So sorry for all the Power Apps and other fans. And I mean, that is really where I first fell in love with the idea of Power Platform, was working on Power Automate. And I wrote, there's still unfortunately some code that I wrote still in the service and product, so I also apologize to the team regularly for that. But it really, that demo starts to show how things are evolving, but staying the same. They're rhyming. This idea that you use workflows and you use agents, and you use approvals with AI in the approvals, and you have a step with a prompt. This is what it's going to be like to really start to reimagine the Power Platform in an AI-first way. And for folks that are paying really close to the demo, you probably, other than Heather's very cute dog, you also probably noticed that we have a new icon for Copilot Studio. I'm sorry. But this helps bring the Copilot Studio icon closer to the broader Microsoft 365 and Copilot experience. And I knew that when I announced that, I'd have to apologize for all the stickers, the shirts, and the tattoos that people have of the old Copilot Studio icon. You can just send a reimbursement for the new tattoo if you want. But it's a really incredible time, because the boundaries of these things are starting to evolve and change. And my view is, when you look at this, this is just us getting into first gear. We're just getting started with these intelligent capabilities. It's the beginning of this reimagination of what it means to make things in Power Platform, of mixing in the agents and the prompts and the AI and where does a workflow show up. This is just the start. And we're going to keep accelerating and pushing further and adding more functionality. And one of the big places is really by enhancing and improving the agent's capability inside of Copilot Studio. So to show what's possible with our latest announcements and latest capabilities, I look forward to inviting Lydia on stage to show it all in action for Aon. Take it away.
Thanks, Charles. Managing high-value client wealth portfolios isn't just hard, it's relentless. NFP, an Aon company, works around the clock, reviewing portfolios, looking at the latest performance of funds, keeping up with endless compliance requirements, all to maximize the returns for their clients. Using agents, we can definitely lighten that workload. And hey, building an agent can't be that hard, right? I reckon I could do it here, now, live, on stage, in less than 4 minutes. Do you think I can do that? I'm going to need a little bit more support than that. Do you think I can do that? Okay, let's do it. Let's start the clock. Okay, I'm in Copilot Studio, and the first thing I'm going to do is let Copilot Studio know exactly what I need the agent to do. So I shared that description, and what I'm saying is I want it to go ahead, review client portfolios, take a look at the latest performance of funds, and come up with recommended next actions. It's going to take that information and build the body of my agent for me. So let's give it a second to do that. There we go. If I click onto create, it's going to take me into Copilot Studio, and now we can start working on our agent. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and come and add some knowledge sources. I want to make my agent smart with a few helpful things. The first one is an external public-facing website, which is an awesome place to go for getting information about the current state of financial markets. The next thing I'm going to do is granted access to an internal SharePoint site. Now, we call this SharePoint site our wealth management hub, and it's a really great place to come if you want to understand the investment philosophy that we have and also see which products we can actually invest in. Once we get those two added, I'm going to give my agent the ability to do some actions. We're going to add some tools. The first one is the Aon Customer Insights Model Context Protocol Server. Now, this is really key because it's going to enable us to look externally and pull in the latest details about our client portfolio. So I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to go ahead and change the credentials to be use my maker provided credentials so we can test it. And if we can scroll down here, we can see what's happening under the hood. We can see the tools we're using to get that external data, and then the resources that provide the context that we need to interpret it correctly and provide really nice summaries. So we'll save that. I've got so much time left. Okay, the next tool I want to add is a flow. So this is called Get Portfolio Snapshot. It's an awesome flow that's going to go ahead and take that information that the MCP server presents and present it in a really nice format. So I've gone ahead and I've added all of those in. So let's just test and see how that's going so far. So I've asked it to go ahead and provide a detailed overview of a specific investment portfolio for a client. And as you can see on the left-hand side, it's jumped straight in with our Model Context Protocol server, using that flow. And just like that, I have my investment portfolio summary. So given that we've still got 1 minute 33, let's make it a little bit smarter and add in some additional agents that have been built by other members of our company. So there's two that I want to add in. The first one is the investment agent. Now, this one's awesome because it's going to take that client portfolio. It's going to also look at what's going on in the market. It's going to do a risk assessment. It's going to take a look at the current performance of different funds. And it's going to make those suggestions about how to act. And then the second one I'm going to add, built by another part of our organization, is the communications agent. What I love about the communications agent is it takes all those rich insights and presents it in a professional, consistent, reliable format. So in clearly less than 4 minutes, I've been able to go ahead and build from scratch an agent with multi-agent orchestration. We can see it created those natural language instructions for me based on my description, added my knowledge sources, I added my tools, and I connected agents. I think that deserves a round of applause, don't you? Now, I'll let you in on a secret. It's really impressive that I built that agent, but Aon won't actually let us ship it unless we do a little bit more testing. So let me show you what it looks like once we have done that. I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, review our client portfolio for a specific client and provide guidance. And what we can see on the left-hand side here is jump straight into action. First, it pulls that investment agent in. It uses the flow to get the portfolio snapshot. It then takes a look at what are our current internal policies for investments. It's going to do a risk assessment, it's going to look at compliance, and it's going to make suggestions using these insights on how to maximize the performance of the fund. Then it's going to summarize it, neatly wrap it up, and hand over to our good friend, the communications agent, which then pulls that information in a really nice format. So depending on whether it's internal, it's going to use appropriate templates for the internal audience. or it might even be, if it was external, be able to pull that information in a great format for that. And then it's going to go ahead and share it with, in this case, our advisor, so that they know exactly what to do to maximize performance. And I can see on the right-hand side, it's already starting to show me the kind of information that it's going to share with my advisor, summary, findings, guidance. Pretty awesome. And just like that, my flow is complete. Now, you might be thinking, Lydia, I'm so overwhelmed. This is the best demo I've ever seen at a Power Platform community conference. You don't need to show me anymore, you can leave. But I actually have one more cool thing to show. So it's clearly dead easy to build an agent, but how do we know that we've built a good one? We've built these new awesome analytics, and there's one in particular that I think you're going to be particularly delighted by, and that is our new evaluations capability. So as a maker, you can now come in and create your own test sets, either by manually coming up with questions or using AI. Go on, you can clap for that. That's pretty exciting. So let me show you what that looks like once it's built. So as a maker, I've come in and I've created all these questions. And for each one, I've determined how do we define what the quality of the answer is. So it could be a general quality bar with a score. It could be a similarity. There's a certain amount of text similarity we need to say the agent gave a good quality answer. All the way through to, I need an exact max. Should be confident this is a high quality agent answer. Once those are all ready, the system runs through as if they're real user interactions, back and forth in conversation, and then I can come in and see the results. So here's an example of that. I have my test run results. I have all the questions it asked, and if I click in, I can see the score that each one got. I can also see either a pass or a fail mark, and I can also see some really in-depth explanation about what we expected and how the agent actually responded. This makes it really easy as a maker to be confident that the agent is producing quality responses. So just like that, in less than 4 minutes, I've been able to build an agent from scratch with multi-agent orchestration, and I've then been able to see really clearly, is my agent producing quality answers that my users will be happy with every time they interact with my agent. Everything you've seen just now is live, so let's get making. Thank you.
I would say when that timer was ticking down, it's the most nervous I've been during a demo in a keynote before. But Lydia really did a great job there. And I think one of the items that the demo really shows is at the end. And I'll reiterate something Lydia said, which is it's getting easier and easier to build agents. You can build it in 4 minutes, 4 hours, 4 days. But it's hard to make an agent that works great. To make an agent that's reliable and drives the business impact that we all want. And that's why evals and the test sets that you can now register in Copilot Studio are probably the most important feature that we've shipped this year. And if I go think about the next 12 months, that is something that I hope every single production agent uses to make sure you get the quality that you want and expect from the agent. And if we look at all of those capabilities, maybe I'd say we get credit to go into second gear now. And we're really starting to, going faster, more functionality, more AI readiness in the product and the platform. But there's still a lot of gears after second. And I think that's something that we really are appreciating. Last year, I said something like, we overestimate what you can do in a year and underestimate what you can do in 10 years. So there's a little bit of overestimation in a year, but we are going faster and faster as we learn together to build these amazing agents or apps or workflows or RPAs inside the Power Platform. Now, for the last demo in the last section, I'm going to talk about Copilot. And I think I get credit for waiting 50 minutes in the keynote before I said the word Copilot. Yeah, I don't know how I should feel that. That might be the loudest applause I got today, but no. Really, there's some cool stuff happening with Microsoft 365 Copilot right now, and we'll show some of it, and Ryan will go deeper next. But Copilot has helped people research and prepare for meetings or write emails or create documents or presentations, really interwoven in what it means to do office work these days. But Copilot continues to level up and get more capable over time. And at this point, to be a great leader and a great manager and a great product thinker, I use Copilot several times every single day. But it's not just going to be about content or text that we want to create in Copilot. We also want to build and make apps, workflows, agents, and more. So we've been doing a lot of work to bring some of those Power Platform capabilities right in line with Copilot. That way more people can discover and start to use the Power Platform through this Copilot interactive experience. And for folks may have noticed earlier this year, we've really done a lot of improvements to Copilot Studio and Microsoft 365 Copilot, where you can easily register knowledge sources and enable code interpreter or use things like graph connectors. So you can build these simple Q&A bots without having to leave Copilot. But you can still go all the way to copilotstudio.com and build those very sophisticated agents like the one Lydia did. And what we've seen is this has dramatically expanded the number of people who are building agents every month. And we saw that and we thought, you know what, there's more to the Power Platform than just agents. So we have 2 brand new announcements that we're making today to support this. First, we have the brand new Workflows agent. So you can now use natural language and conversation, and you can iterate and make edits and changes to build a workflow right in the context of Copilot. And this comes with an existing Copilot license, and it allows you to tap into the incredible Power Automate platform on the back end. So things like governance and security and environment around it all continue to work. And the second big announcement is that we've done the same thing for app building. So the new App Builder agent makes it possible to create a full stack application. That's UI, a React-based code-generated UI, you don't have to look at the code, a middle tier with logic, and a backing data store, all right in the context of Copilot. And you can share and secure that using the existing things you already know inside of Power Platform and the existing constructs like Entra and security groups and more. And with this, you can have agents, apps, workflows as something that AI users are also making on a regular basis. And to really highlight how easy this is and how integrated this is, I'm excited to welcome Anthony to stage to give us a live demo. Take it away, Anthony.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. PwC is a global professional services firm specializing in audit, tax, and consulting for businesses and organizations. Their risk and compliance teams are on the front lines of a non-stop regulatory storm of policy updates and clarifications, scattered across teams, emails, and knowledge bases. What makes this moment special is that with our new builders, agents directly in Microsoft 365 Copilot, someone on the team who knows the processes best can step up. They see the chaos, roll up their sleeves, and decide to build something smarter, all by simply describing what they need. We're going to jump in and take a handle on that storm by automating our policy update notifications using the Workflows agent. Here you can see a couple of different pieces. We have processes that they recommend we automate. We have my existing workflows. And of course, I can start my conversation with the Workflows agent. I'm going to ask it, when a regulatory notice email arrives, summarize the key components and post it into our watch group chat. The Workflows agent will understand my intent and pull together all the pieces I need to automate this process. It'll figure out what's the best trigger and what are all the different actions it needs to take to give us that update on the policy notifications. And you can see it working here on the right as it pulls it together. It'll do things like pull together the trigger, so in this case, when an email arrives. And of course, it's building intelligent automations. So it's going to use AI to summarize that large policy update email for me. And lastly, of course, it'll post it to team. This is looking fantastic. But of course, with all agents, we want to iterate further and refine. Let's go ahead and ask it, in that post, can you categorize by our main areas of focus and title each section with the header? And so it's going to look, once again, at that message I sent. It's going to understand my intent, and it's going to update that workflow directly in line into exactly what I need. Here you can see, of course, it went from just summarizing in that AI step to summarizing and categories, which is exactly what I asked for. If we jump into Teams, we can see that workflow hard at work. I have all these different policy update summaries categorized exactly like I asked by those different areas, and that is absolutely fantastic. A workflow built, storm managed. If we scroll down, thank you. If we scroll down to the bottom, of course, though, there are still questions for our experts based on these new policy updates. And to scale out our question management process, for that, we want an app. We're going to build that using the new app builder. So we're going to go ahead and ask it, make me an application to handle all these incoming questions, make it a dashboard, make it look nice, and for fun, we're going to give it a couple of documents to reference. So our current process is a document, and I had a meeting earlier with some of my colleagues as a brainstorm for what we should do here. I want to give it as well, and we'll send it off to go work. So I'm going to go ahead and once again, just like the previous agent, understand the intent and build it out for me. But this process will take a little bit longer, and I'll explain why in a second. So this agent, jumping to the app that we built, but this agent works a little bit differently than some of the other ones you've seen in the past. What it does is that it uses the tools at its disposal to build out a couple different things. So it makes a product requirement stock and a list of tasks to go complete. If you see here in its reasoning, it's going through all the different tasks it has and going through and checking that list, managing the task, and completing it. What's even more special is that just like a dev, it uses bash commands to complete this. It's going to use things like cat, ls, and grep to understand the product files and directory and to make code changes. This allows it to iterate further and build more complex applications easily because it can constantly read through the files just like a dev would and make the necessary changes. So we can see here, if we open up the application, it has built me exactly what I asked for, this beautiful regulatory dashboard for handling our questions with that graph at the top, the policy updates. I can go submit a question, and we have our list of existing questions, all that great stuff exactly in line. Just like before, we're going to also ask and go further to iterate, and so we're going to say, can you theme this app with PwC's brand colors and add a SME directory on the right? And of course, it's going to reason over that and do those same things I talked about, make tasks, use its tools, understand the code, and make the changes. It'll take a couple of minutes, so I'm going to leave it on the right-hand side, and you can maybe watch it if we get lucky, make code changes directly. But while it does it, I'm going to close this out. The best part about this is that these new lightweight builders are available, rolling out starting today. And as someone who's been on the Power Platform for a long time, it has been a long-time dream of ours to empower everyone to build software solutions, like apps and automations, to make their work lives easier, the same way anyone can make a document or a spreadsheet. With these new builders, we're taking a step closer to that dream together and looking forward to all the amazing things you all use these builders and build with them. Thank you so much, and back to you, Charles.
Thank you, Anthony. And I think these agents are available in Frontier, so please experiment with them and give us feedback, because we're in the very early learning stages. But this idea of bringing Power Platform into Copilot is something we already know and have done well in the past. Teams with Power Automate, or SharePoint with Power Apps, or Excel and Power BI. This idea of integrating these Power Platform products directly into Office apps that people use every day helps us expose more people to the Power Platform. And as we do that, we can dream even bigger in terms of what this community can look like. I mentioned earlier the 56 million monthly active users using Power Platform. As you go and democratize this further, you can start to look at 500 million active users in the Power Platform, and even more people sharing their ideas and creating amazing solutions. And that's what we're working towards with these apps, agents, and Copilot. These three components make it so you can have apps that build themselves alongside you with your ideas and your creativity, and agents that can go do work in the background on your behalf, and Copilot that kind of seamlessly integrates with the way you work each and every day and makes it so you can use AI and create AI solutions. And this is what we're going to have to do to match the speed of innovation that every company needs to stay competitive and grow and thrive. And this isn't something reserved just for tech companies or banks or, say, life science R&D. These AI components are transforming every single industry, whether it's manufacturing or agriculture or education. Every single industry is adopting these tools to go faster and work differently. And the one on this slide, which has me the most excited, is F1. So we're super excited to have Alpine here on site with their car, and using Power Platform to make their cars go faster. So let's hear through a short video how they do that today.
We are good to go. Fire up.
In Formula One, milliseconds matter. We chase performance, not in tenths of a second, but hundreds of thousands of a second.
The Alpine brand is born in competition, and the ambition is to perform at the highest level of motorsport.
It is a very high-pressure environment, and it does change very rapidly. And so we need the best tools that we can possibly get to help us get to the end goal as quickly as we can.
There's a real innovation culture at an F1 team. We're constantly pushing boundaries. With Power Platform, we've been able to really accelerate how we can be more efficient, how we can get parts to the car more quickly, and that's been a real game changer for us.
We always want to be winning the race and winning the competitions. The Microsoft products give us all the tools we need to be able to perform at the highest level.
Data is everywhere. Getting the best tech from Microsoft is critical just to make the right decision.
Within the aero department, we generate terabytes of data every minute. So we use this technology to be ahead of the other teams, to make the car quicker and reach the end line faster.
We're constantly trying new things, and the future of Formula One with agents, automations is very exciting, and that's why it's great to have Power Platform alongside that.
Having a partner like Microsoft is a great advantage for the team, and racing at the speed of innovation is absolutely key.
I'd say if F1 and that speed gets you excited, we're really honored to have an Alpine pit stop experience here on site. I did this last night where you actually, in teams of 3, get to change the tire on an actual F1 car, even with that very loud drill bit thing. Our time was under 4 seconds, so we'll see who can beat that. I'm sure many of you. So I'd say definitely check it out, and a ton of other great activities we have at the conference. And if I could leave you with a few go-dos, I'd request, go connect with other makers. Some of the biggest benefit is people that are sitting right around you, right here in the arena. Hear how they're using the products, the ideas they're taking to life and to production, and what they've learned most recently that you could go adopt yourself. Go and actually experiment with the new capabilities and explore the new features that we've announced and shared today. Get in the Frontier environment and start to play with App Builder and workflows over the next couple of days. And go start to experiment with things like prompts inside of Power Automate and workflows. And last but not least, there's a lot of Microsoft people here. So shape our roadmap, whether it's in a session or if you walk by them in the hallway, grab them, let them know your top feature request, let them know what we could do to make the products better and improve. That is the fuel for us to make better experiences each and every year. It's all of your feedback. We're always learning, always willing to listen. And thank you. And if you don't know where to get started to build, I'd encourage you to check out the Agent Hackathon we're going to have. Guinness is actually on site to see if we're going to break the Guinness World Record for the largest Agent Hackathon ever. So definitely check that out if you want to get started. Lots of great opportunities to share ideas and experiment. And also, if this week isn't enough, if you can't wait to learn more about Power Platform, we're excited to announce that we've already reserved next year's 5th annual Power Platform Community Conference right here back in Las Vegas in the same location. So with that, that's all the content I have. But I want to finish with a huge thank you to all of you. I said it earlier, the community is what gives us life to build these products, to experiment and play with the latest technology to give the best possible app building, workflow creation, agent building, dashboards, and reports inside the Power Platform. So thank you so much for all that you do, and I can't wait to see you around the rest of this week. Have a good one.